When a equals 1, we can easily factor it by doing what multiplies to give you c and adds to give you b. So what two numbers multiply to give you 45? 9 and 5. And then 9 plus 5 gives you 14, so positive on both. And then two numbers that multiply to give you negative 28 and add to give you negative 3. Negative 7, positive 4. Because negative 7 plus 4 gives you that negative 3, which is what we needed. Now on 3 and 4, you got to do greatest common factor first, because notice the the leading coefficient in front of that a squared, which we call the a, is not 1. So we have to first look for greatest common factor. And if you can't do greatest common factor, then we have to do something else, which is what we're going to be doing today. So do I have a greatest common factor on number 3? 2. So I factor out of 2, I'm left with a squared plus a minus 12. Bring down the 2, and we're going to split it up into 2 factors. What two numbers multiply to give you negative 12?
Negative 3. Positive 4 and negative.
Positive 4 and negative 3. Because those two add to give you positive 1, which is what is on the middle term. Then on number 4, what's my greatest common factor?
4.
I'm left with p squared minus 6p plus 5. We'll split that trinomial into 2 binomials. So what are two numbers that multiply to give you positive 5 and add to give you negative 6?
Negative 1 and negative 5.
Negative 1 and negative 5. So 4 times p minus 1 times p minus 5 will be my factored trinomial. Okay. So last week we only looked at trinomials when we could get it down to a equals, or the a at the front, the leading coefficient would be 1. Today we're going to look at trinomials when you can't get a to equal 1. So when a is greater than 1. So today we're looking at trinomials when a is greater than 1. So method I'm going to show you is called slide and divide. Some teachers call it slip and slide. So the first thing you do is you slide a to the end of the trinomial and multiply it by c. Then you factor the trinomial like normal, because it'll be a basic trinomial where a equals 1. And then, so we did our slide, then you got to divide what you slid. So we'll divide by whatever that a was, and then reduce the factors and slide any denominators back. So if we look at that first example, so I started with 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. There, you can't have a greatest common factor. You can't factor out 2 out of that. You can't factor out a 5 or 3. So what I did was I slide that 2 to the end, and I'm multiplying it. So I slide the 2 to the end, and I multiply it by 3, and I get a 6 right here. And that's going to be 1. Then you factor it like normal. Two numbers that multiply to give you 6 and add to give you 5 are 3 and 2. And then you do a divide. You divide by what you slid. Okay? And then, if it does not simplify, like this right here didn't simplify, you just slide that denominator back in front of the x to make it a coefficient. So, let's do an example. So, on number 3, can't factor out anything out of 6, 5, and 4. So, I'm just going to slide that 6 to the end and multiply it. So when I do that, I have y squared minus 5y And then 6 times negative 4 gives you negative 24. Now I can factor this trinomial. What two numbers multiply to give you negative 24 and add to give you negative 5?
Negative 8 and positive 3.
Negative 8, positive 3. Okay, so I did my slide, got to go back and do the divide. So I'm going to take that 6 that I slid, and I'm going to divide both constants by 6. Okay, then I want to reduce those fractions. What's 8 divided by 6 reduced to? 4 over 3. And then what's 3 over 6 reduced to? 1/2, 1 over 2. Okay, so I've got it factored, and that is a true factor of it, but we don't want to have those fractions in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another slide, and we're going to slide these denominators in front of our variable. We'll have 3y minus 4 and 2y plus 1. And that is our factored form. Can I factor anything out of 12, 11, and 5? No. So I can't do regular factoring where I find what multiplies to C and adds to B. So I'm going to do slide and divide. Slide that 12 and multiply it by that negative 5. And negative 5 times 12 is what? Negative 60. Okay, what two numbers multiply to give you negative 60 and add to give you 11? One of them's 4. So positive 15 or negative 15 to give me positive 11. Positive 15 and negative 4. Okay. So now, did my slide, did my factoring, now what do I need to do? Divide. Take that 12 and divide it. Okay. Then we're going to simplify that. So C plus was 15 over 12 reduced to?
5.
5 over 4. And then what does 4 over 12 reduce to? 1 over 3. Do I want to have those fractions in there?
No.
No. So I'm going to slide those denominators in front of the variable. We'll have 4C plus 5 times 3C minus 1. Okay. So I can't factor anything out of 3, 11, and 10, so I need to slide that 3 to the 10. I'm going to multiply it by 3. Then I have x squared minus 11x, and then what's 3 times 10? 30. Maybe it'll come up in a second. Y'all know the internet. Okay. So, need two numbers that multiply to give me 30 and add to give me negative 11. Negative 6 and negative 5. So then, what do I need to do with the 3 that I slid? Divide. Okay. So, what does 6 over 3 reduce to? 2. So I just have x minus 2. So since I don't have a denominator there, I don't have to slide it and slide my denominator in front of the x. Does 5 over 3 reduce at all? No. So since it doesn't, I'm not going to waste space and rewrite it. So I know I'm just going to have to slide that 3 back in front of my variable. So I'm going to have 3x minus 5. So x minus 2 times 3x minus 5. Okay, number 2, can't factor anything out. So I'm going to slide the 8 and have y squared minus 10y plus 24. And then I need two numbers that multiply to give me positive 24 and add to give me negative 10. Negative 6 and negative 4. Then I need to go back, divide them by what? 8. What's 6 over 8 reduced to? 3/4. And 4 over 8? 1/2. And then what do I need to do with the 4 and with the 2? Slide them back in front. So I have 4y minus 3 times 2y minus 1. Okay. So now I did my slide. Now I got to go back and divide. So I'm going to divide both of those by 9. And then what's 3 over 9 reduced to? 1 over 3. And then 6 over 9 reduces to?
2 over 3.
2 over 3. What do I need to do with both of those 3's?
Move them to the front.
Move them to the front. So I'm going to have 3m minus 1 times 3m plus 2. Okay. And then what two numbers multiply to give you negative 20 and add to give you negative 1? Positive 4 and what? Negative 5. Then what do I need to divide them by? 10. So what does 4 over 10 reduce to? And then 5 over 10? 1/2. I've gotten to that. Now what do I need to do with the bottom so that they're fully factored in the prettiest way possible? Slide those so it'll be 5p plus 2 and 2p minus 1. Okay, I'm going to skip 5 and 6. So did my greatest common factor first. Now I can do slide and divide. Because can I factor anything out of 5, 6, and 8? No. So now I got to do my slide and divide. So slide the 5 to the 8. So I have y squared minus 6y minus what? 40. Okay, what two numbers multiply to give you negative 40 and add to give you a negative 6? Negative 10, positive 4. Now what do I need to divide by? 5. What we slid. Divide by what you slid. So what's 10 divided by 5? 2. And can you simplify 4 over 5? No. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide that back in front of the y. So I have 5y plus 4. Now, to finish out this problem and it be correct, what do I need to do? What do I know I have down here? The 3. Make sure you bring down the 3. Yes, 2. I can factor out a 2 on number 10. So what's 32 divided by 2? What's 16 divided by 2? 2 divided by 2 is 1. Can't factor anything else out, so I'm going to do slide and divide. Slide that 16 to the 1. So I have w squared minus 8w plus 16. What two numbers multiply to give you positive 16 and add to give you a negative 8?
4.
4s. Are they positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. So w minus 4, w minus 4. And then what do I need to divide those by? Divide them by the 16. So what does 4 over 16 reduce to? 1/4. So I have w minus 1/4 times w minus 1/4. What do I need to do with the 4s? Slide them back in front. So I have 4w minus 1 times 4w minus 1. Don't forget to bring down the 2. And remember, anytime you have two of the exact same thing multiplied by itself, you could do the squared. So if you wrote 2 times 4w minus 1 squared, that's perfectly okay too. Huh? Yes. Okay. So go ahead and flip to page 33. So that was factoring with slide and divide. So now we're going to do some more solving by factoring. So on Thursday and Friday, we looked at how to solve by factoring. Remember, we used the zero product property right here to solve for our solutions. So we're going to do the same thing with slide and divide. So let's look at example 2. Do I have a greatest common factor?
5.
Yes, I can factor out of 5. So I have x squared minus what? 4x minus 12. Do I have to use slide and divide on this one? No, I don't. Why? Because the leading coefficient for the x squared is 1. So we don't have to do slide and divide. So we're just going to look at what two numbers multiply to give you a negative 12 and add to give you negative 4. Negative 6, positive 2. Those do add to equal negative 4. So that's what we're going to use. So bring down that 5. We'll have x minus 6 times x plus 2 equals 0. And now with zero product property, set them all equal to 0. Shut that a little faster. Okay, so 5 can't equal 0, so that one doesn't matter. And then what do I get from this one right here? We have to change the sign, remember? So you get x equals positive 6. And x equals negative 2. Can I factor anything out with greatest common factor? No. So, since I can't, I'm going to do slide and divide. So I'm going to slide that 8. I'm going to start with x squared minus 22x plus 40. So what two numbers multiply to give you positive 40 and add to give you negative 22?
Well,
20 and 2. Okay. So now I need to go back and do my divide. So divide by 8. Now what's 20 over 8 reduced to?
5 over 2.
And 2 over 8 reduces to 1/4. Okay. So when you're solving, when you have that equals 0 at the end, you can do that step where you slide back to get this kind of form, but you don't have to because it's kind of a waste of time to do that last little slide back because you're going to end up having, see how this is 5 over 2, 5 over 2, 1, 1. You're going to end up having those fractions as part of your answer. So just go ahead and take those right there and set them equal to 0 to solve for them. So them both equal to 0, inverse operations. Add the 5 over 2. You get x equals 5 over 2. Same with the other one. Add 1/4 to both sides. You'll get x equals 1/4. So when you skip that last little slide, you're saving yourself some work with the inverse operations right here. Since I don't have to do slide and divide, I'll just factor it. What two numbers multiply to give you 4 and add to give you 5?
1 and 4.
1 and 4. Now I can do zero product property, just set both of them equal to 0. Set the 2 equal to 0 too, but since that's just 2 equals 0, that's not true, so we just not even use it. But if there's a variable out front that you factored out, you do need to set that equal to 0. Okay, so what are my x's going to equal?
-4, -1.
-4 and -1. Answer for number 2 is -1 and 7. Then I'm going to do number 3. So, number 3, do I have a greatest common factor?
None.
No. So what do I need to do?
1.
Slide and divide. Slide that 3 to the 10. I have x squared plus 13x minus 30. So two numbers that multiply to give you -30 and add to give you 13.
-4.
2 times 3.
Okay, so 3 and -10 multiply to give you -30, but they add to give you -7, 7, -13, +13. So, which one of those pairs do I need to use?
-2.
-2, +15. Okay. Did my slide, gotta go back and divide. What am I dividing by? 3. So I have x minus 2 over 3 and x plus what? 5. So if we were just factoring, you would need to slide that 3 in front of the x, but since we're solving, we're going to just do zero product property and set those equal to 0. So x minus 2 over 3 equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. So it's negative in the x minus 2 over 3, so when I bring it out, it's going to be positive. Positive 5 becomes -5. So x equals 2 over 3 and -5. And number 4's answers are 3 over 5 and 1. And then I'm going to go to page 34 and do some of those. Okay. So number 5, what do I need to do? Can I do a greatest common factor? No. So I'm going to have to do slide and divide. So slide the 2 to the 7. Get x squared plus 13x minus 14. What two numbers multiply to give you negative 14 and add to give you a positive 13? Negative 1 and positive 14. And what am I going to go back and divide by? 2. So what's 14 divided by 2? So I have x plus 7 and x minus 1/2. Okay. Then zero product property, x plus 7 equals 0. X minus 1/2 equals 0. So what are my two solutions? Negative 7, positive 1/2. Okay. Answer for 6 is x equals negative 1/2 and negative 1/3. Okay, go ahead and try number 7. And with inverse operations, I'll get x equals what? Negative 1/2, and x equals what? Positive 5/2. Okay, on number 8, x will equal negative 3/2. I'm going to skip that one. Now number 9, got to do a little bit extra. Since this is not set equal to 0, I need to make it be set equal to 0. What do I need to do with this negative 2? Move it to the other side. Inverse operations. So add 2 to both sides. So I have 3x squared plus 7x plus 2 equals 0. So now, can I do a greatest common factor?
No.
No. So I have to slide and divide. Slide the 3 to the 2. I have x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0. What two numbers multiply to give you 6 and add to equal positive 6, positive 1. Did my slide, did my factoring. Now I need to do what? Divide. So what am I dividing by? 3. So what's 6/3? 2. So I have x plus 2 and x plus 1/3. Set them both equal to 0. solve and do inverse operations. And I'm going to get what is my two solutions.
Negative 1/3 and negative.
-2 and -1/3. Number 10, what do I need to do first?
Lose the 10.
Move the 10x over, so I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. So I have 8x squared minus 10x plus 3 equals 0. Can I do a greatest common factor? Nope. Can I factor it normally? No.
You have to do this.
Have to do slide and divide. So slide that 8 to the 3. And I'll have x squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. What's the numbers multiply to give you 24 and add to give you -10?
Negative 12 plus 2.
-6 and -4. So if you did -12 and 2, that would add to give you the -10, but it will multiply to give you -24, which we needed a positive. So both of them needed to be negative. So then I need to do what? Divide the 8. X minus 3/4, x minus 1/2. Then using zero product property, we can solve for our x values. And what are my two x values? 3/4 and 1/2. And number 11 solutions are x equals -5/2 and -1/6. Then we're going to do number 12. So number 12, what do I need to do first? Move everything on the right-hand side to the left-hand side. So I'm going to subtract x squared and subtract 2. Okay. Okay, so what's 5x squared minus x squared?
I mean, just
4x squared. Remember, you subtract the coefficients.
Oh,
And then I just have 7x, don't combine it with anything. And then minus 2, don't combine it with anything, equals 0. Do I have a greatest common factor? No. So I'm going to do slide and divide. Slide the 4 to the -2. And I have x squared plus 7x minus 8 equals 0. What two numbers multiply to give you -8 and add to give you +7?
+8 and negative.
+8, -1. What am I going to go back and divide by? 4. So I'll have x plus 2, x minus 1/4. So what are my two solutions?
-2.
-2,
+1.
+1/4. Okay, anybody got any questions for me? Okay. On page 35 and 36, I want y'all to do the, let's see. What?
We don't have 35. We do, it's right at.
It might be out of order. I do apologize. I don't know how it would have got out of order. But they are out of order because I can see it on hers. They're out of order. But do 35 and 36 and do the odds. Need to go fix that. Yes, you can listen to music.